something that don't understand electromagnetics, then you won't get this, but it is something that is highly important to the electromagnetic structure of the Earth. It is like your blood inside of your body. The fluids are meant to be where they're meant to be. When you have oil pocket buildup, you are not supposed to drain it dry until it's like bones and rubble. You're supposed to leave it alone. That is why we were given the sun. That is why we were given the wind. That's why we were given water. There is electricity all around you, folks, and that is what we're going to be talking about today, because I think this is something that most of the world needs to start to wake up to. There is energy everywhere. You have something called a toroidal field around your body. The Earth has the same toroidal field around its body or around its shell. The toroidal field is also what the original alchemical or the zodiac symbol of the Taurus represents, the circle with the half circle coming out of it. What you see here is the aspect of the toroidal field, and you have the ball around you, so the circle around you, which is some people call it your aura, the yoke, and then you have energy that flows out of the top of that and cycles around the outside. And then you pull energy from the bottom on the inside. So that is the electromagnetic poles of the Earth. If you ever get a chance, check it out. Check out the electromagnetic imaging of the Earth, and you'll see the actual toroidal field I'm talking about. And basically what it looks like is if you took a beach ball and you deflated it, and you pushed in on the tops, all right? And you pushed in right in the center on the tops. And then you'd see it indented in the centers, and then the outside was kind of like the shape of a peach or an apple. So you've got the hole in the top and the hole in the bottom, and then it kind of plumps up and then goes around, plump, and then tucks in. I hope that makes sense. There's no physical description here by imaging, so I'm trying to describe it verbally. And if you haven't seen a toroidal field, and you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look it up. This is real science, folks. Toroidal fields, it's in quantum physics and metaphysics, and they talk about how because everything has this toroidal field, that means that everybody has this bioelectrical current that they're giving off and they're receiving. So you're constantly pulling in energy and you're constantly pushing out energy. And it's the same concept of when you interact with a group of people and y'all are talking and you're sharing information, and you're also sharing these emotions, these opinions, these stigmas or imprints of personality. And what these are imprints from your toroidal field. You're constantly pulling in new imprints and releasing old ones. And sometimes you're reproducing these imprints within your field and then just sending them off. So you're not getting them and then letting them go. You're taking one in and you keep it. So it's like smoking a cigarette. When you smoke the cigarette and you're like, okay, this becomes a ritual. And then every day when you go to work, you're smoking a cigarette on the way to work. Then you smoke a cigarette on the way home. Then you smoke a cigarette at lunch. It becomes a ritualistic habit where you're repeating something that was brought into your life. When you saw that commercial, you saw your parent, you saw whatever, smoking a cigarette. Or you said, I want to try that. And it was in the store one day. Doesn't matter. What it is you're repeating an action that came to you instead of just letting it go. You know, you can always try the cigarette and say, hey, I had that experience. I'm a firm believer in experiencing every day of life. There's a new blog podcast on iTunes that I'm starting to listen to. Well, I listen to it on Blog Addict, and if you haven't heard of Blog Addict, check it out. You can check us out, Freedomizer Radio, on Blog Addict. Anyways, nice plug, huh? Anyways, this show called Every Day is a Saturday, it's actually a branding that this guy does. I can't remember his name right now. Sam Crowley. There you go. Sam Crowley, like Aleister Crowley. He does Every Day is a Saturday, and he has a podcast, and he also has a website. And what it's about is, it's the Mondays. Oh, thank God it's Wednesday, or thank God it's Friday. Hump Wednesday, better get over that. You know, let's try to have some fun so we can get through this week. Almost there, guys. It's almost the weekend. Yay, weekend. Oh, it's over. I mean, those concepts are ridiculous. And this guy basically says, hey, every day, you're amazing. Every day, you're awesome. Every day is a Saturday. You can do whatever you want every day. And that's the reality. When you start living life that way, you really start to see that all it is you changing your perception, you changing your reality. And that's what it comes down to these energy concepts with the energy that's around us. Back in the day, there was a guy named Nikola Tesla. Thomas Edison. And let's see, Albert Einstein. Let's see, one more was Westinghouse. So these kind of names I'm throwing out there, these are people who work in electricity. They work in energy. So we still look at crude oil as one of the major energy productions. And then we have nuclear. And it just blows me away, folks, because we have wind, and it is showing that it is sufficient, and it doesn't do as much damage. What happens when a nuclear core blows? Or when a nuclear core becomes disabled? What happens to the nuclear waste? I mean, there's nuclear waste in Austin, and people don't even know about it. So that's where it really just, you got to start to question this, folks. When you have wind energy, wind turbine energy, you can actually create most of the wind turbine out of natural, biodegradable. You can completely create the pillar out of a natural substance, such as a clay or something else, as long as you have a hollowed out inside where you can run certain parts in order to operate everything. And really, honestly, with some of the windmills that they have nowadays, or most of them, you don't even need that. You just need the pillar, and the pillar doesn't have to have anything. And then you have the motor on top with the actual propeller, and you can run all the external housing on the outside of the pillar, and piping or coax cabling. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, you can run all this stuff externally, so you don't have to worry about it. You can actually make structures that have these propellers, and they just run. And this is where it becomes phenomenal. Is we got to break this idea. We have to evolve past these concepts of limiting ourselves to the technology that's available. Nowadays, I heard an article that was talking about how nowadays we live in the time of infinite possibilities. We constantly look at, there's so much, it's unbelievable, unimaginable. No. Right now is the time to imagine. Right now is the time to create. And if we don't start creating to protect our planet, we're going to destroy it. And I know I've already talked about this a couple times, but it's because this is important. And that's why, that's the only reason I'm even on this radio show, is because I want to protect the planet. And I'm not some hippie. I'm not some Greenpeace guy. I'm not a vegan. Nothing against vegans. Let me just back that up. Nothing against vegetarians. It's just, I'm just saying, I'm not your typical rah-rah save the earth. I'm more like the Native American, soldier warrior kind. I eat meat. I have to. And when it comes down to it, I really don't like slaughtering in butcher houses. I promote the videos that say, hey, this is Burger King's way of taking care of their cows. And this is, this farm or that farm that hurts their chickens because they're stuck in these coops and they're disgusting and diseased. It drives me nuts that I can't get good chicken and I have to, pay overpriced just for one place that I can get good quality chicken I can trust. So that's where, going back to the energy aspect of it, with how we treat the world is how we treat ourselves. And how we treat ourselves is how we treat the world. So when we're constantly taking from the planet, what are we doing to ourselves? Well, we're taking from ourselves. We are taking from ourselves every day, whether it's time, whether it's happiness, whether it's monetary value. Think about how much money you spend every month just to keep your life going. You're making money just to spend money. That is the average American dream, is to make enough money that you're constantly making it and you spend it. And then what do? You retire. You have enough money that you don't have to worry about what you keep making it. You can invest some of it, and then you die. And you give that money to your kids so they can do the same exact thing. And what do you hope? That they can just be satisfied and live a good, happy life. And in reality, they're economic slaves. And one of the biggest things I think that keeps us one of the things I think I know that keeps us economic slaves is energy. If you allow people to put 1 to 2 windmills on their property or on their home even, if you allow people to put solar panels on their house and even make it a prerequisite, like a part of building homes, why not make it a part of the homes nowadays? It is that simple. And I understand some of these technologies, it is, you get some of the bad with the good, like solar panels. You're still taking materials from the earth and making something. And Again, this goes back to the make to order. If we stop mass production, then we can make to order. And it's not about, oh, well, you can't get this or you can't get that. It's not about raising the price either. It's about making it to order when people need it. And it's about producing things on a need basis. And not on a want basis, not on a greed basis of I can do whatever I want because I'm free. That thought right there is not free, because that makes you a slave to your ego and to your greed. I can do what I want. You can't do what you want. Go out in the street and get naked and shoot some people. Watch what happens. You can do what you want. Go to the store and smack somebody. Watch what happens. Freedom is the negotiation of existence. And it's something that we need to understand. And it comes with responsibility. So freedom is, one, a negotiation. So you don't always get to do what you want. And two, you got to be responsible. And that means we got to stop this game of I want, gimme, let's take, and burn the whole world now. Because it's ridiculous. We're creating a generation of we can't stop. Let's get drunk. Let's party. Throw it up. Let's have fun. Dance. Jiggle that butt. What is it? Drop the beat. YouTube, and look at that and see how many babies and kids are doing that, and the parents are dancing with. I'm sorry, if you are a parent and you're doing a drop the beat video and you're sitting there shaking your butt and teaching your child to shake his butt, it's cute and all, but if you understand psychology, you are imprinting on that child. And it sucks, I get it, oh, I'm just trying to have fun. Well, you know what, while you're having fun, there's people out there who are indoctrinating you and your children, who are teaching your children to hate you. And that's the reality. And I know there's people out there who don't want to face the fact that we're in a war. They just don't. They just want to live in an existence where it's like, oh, that's all fun, but that doesn't affect me. It does affect you. When taxes go up, it does affect you. When presidents get elected, it does affect you. Every single part of this multifaceted system, this negotiation of existence, affects you because you're negotiating. You're agreeing to some stipulations of your existence. So you're agreeing to going and buying the gasoline every time. Just like I agreed to go buy the gasoline because I don't have the proper efficiency of having the vehicle to use sustainable energy. But you know what? As soon as I can afford a Tesla car, I'll get one. That's the reality. That's what I want to do. I would like to learn how to convert my motorcycle to an electric engine. That's what it comes down to, is how do you change things around you? How do you improve what you already have? Remodel, reuse, recycle. Simple as that. And that's one thing that we need to take into our concept of energy work. And I think it's ridiculous everybody's attacking this Tesla company like this. Like, it just blows me away. This is a new company that's coming out, and they're hitting it hard. In Europe, the sales are dropping down. Like, the sales prices are lowering because they're starting to really sell them. They're starting to really become popular, and you're getting all this bad media press. They're even suing. They finally got to the point where they're wealthy enough. They're suing BBC. And you know what the article says? Oh, ego versus ego. It's not about ego. It's about the fact that they lied on BBC's Top Gear about the miles that the Roadster got, the Tesla Roadster. And so Tesla's just simply, they said that they even tried to talk to them about it, and they just said, no, we're not going to retract this show. We're not going to retract our statement or say, like, hey, just a legit update. The car was this way. We're just going to ignore that. So now they're suing them. And if that's the way it works in the corporate game, why? Because if they don't stand up for their product, then people are going to look at that and be like, oh, well, they lied about their certification. Or, oh, they're one of the elite companies and they got the certifications written off by special people. That's the way the world works, everybody. And it's just ridiculous that this company's getting attacked like this. And if there's some hard evidence of them doing bad shit, then let it be. Oh, language. But if there's some evidence of them doing some bad stuff, bring it to the table. I'm going to make sure to stay on top of this and see where it goes. But anyways, just kind of ridiculous with this whole thing. I hope they win with the BBC thing. I hope there's a settlement and BBC pulls the show and it never does reruns. Because that's what they're saying. The show reruns. So to this day, you can see a rerun of this Top Gear episode talking about the Roadster and that it gets about 55 miles on their track before it cuts out. When I got it right here, the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe had third-party testers there who were physically present to view for 211 miles of driving time on a full charge for the Roadster.